You've heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Those words, spoken over 2,000 years ago, are more relevant today than ever before. In a world divided by borders, beliefs, and backgrounds, what would it actually look like to live out Matthew 5:43-44 on a global scale? Imagine for a moment, countries at odds, people on opposite sides of an argument, strangers separated by language or culture, extending not just tolerance but genuine love. Not easy, right? But necessary. So, how do we get there? First, it starts within. I have to recognize my own biases, my own judgments, and ask myself, am I holding on to anger that I could instead transform with compassion? If each of us did that every day, the world would shift, even if just a little. Second, I need to listen. I mean really listen. Not just to my friends, but to voices that challenge me, people who think differently, or even those who might have wronged me. Understanding is the first step toward empathy, and empathy is the foundation of love. Third, forgiveness. On a global scale, this means nations reconciling, communities healing old wounds, families bridging years of silence. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it lets us build a future where love is stronger than hate. Fourth, action. It's not enough to wish the world was kinder. I have to do something. That might mean standing up for someone who's marginalized, reaching out to a neighbor I barely know, or supporting efforts for peace and justice, even when it's uncomfortable. Globally, leaders can set the tone through diplomacy, fair policies, and by modeling respect. Leaders hold immense power to shape the tone of entire nations. When leaders choose dialogue over division and prioritize understanding over retaliation, they inspire millions to follow their example. Their words and actions can either fuel conflict or foster reconciliation. By championing policies that promote peace, investing in education that teaches empathy, and publicly modeling respect for all, even adversaries, leaders can transform societies. True leadership means having the courage to break cycles of hatred and to extend a hand, even when it's unpopular. The world watches its leaders. Their choices ripple far beyond borders, but the real work is on the ground in our daily lives. Love, as commanded in Matthew, isn't passive. It's an active choice, again and again. So what would a modern-day world look like if we took these words seriously? Maybe it's communities where enemies become friends, where forgiveness replaces revenge, and where love crosses every border. I'm not saying it's simple, but if enough people from every corner of the planet decided to love instead of hate, to understand instead of judge, to forgive instead of resent, the world would look less like a battleground and more like a home for all of us. That's the vision, that's the challenge, and it starts with me.